Following relentless pleas from the sugarcane farmers associations, today Minister of Agriculture Gaspar Vega announced that following negotiations with ASR, the 2015 cane crop season will be extended by 5 days.
We all know that there's a lot of standover cane, and the plea of all associations was that there were several cane farmers who have not been able to deliver not even a piece of sugar cane. And that is when I more than ever got very concerned and thought that everyone should get the opportunity of delivering at least a percentage of their quota. We spoke over the telephone several times. I spoke to Mr. McLachlan, and we were in communication for a couple days along with Mr. Celestino Ruiz. And we finally got to extend the crop for 5 more days. So they did compromise and said that the best they could do is to extend the crop by 5 more days. At this moment, I want to tell Mr. Carballo, BSI, ASR, that I, for one, is very grateful for making that change in lengthening the crop, because this is the type of actions that we need from all stakeholders of the sugar industry. We need to show not only to the industry, but to this country, that all stakeholders of this industry is committed to the industry and that we're willing to do whatever it takes to ensure that the industry moves forward.
However, there is a condition to the extension. With heavy rains expected in the middle of this week, there is a possibility the crop may not go until Sunday.
I think I can answer that, because I think that I forgot to mention that that was one of the stipulations that BSI-ASR had reminded me of, that if for any one reason we would have rain and non-stop rain for days, and then BSI has that leverage of giving 48 hours notice for closure. So they still want to have that, which I think everybody has no problem with that.
The cane harvest season was scheduled to close tomorrow, July 7th at 6 p.m., but farmers were not happy because they claim excess mature cane would stay standing in the fields. It is expected that with an additional 5 days of harvesting, together farmers will be able to bring in an additional 35,000 tons of cane to the factory. BSI's Belis Carballo made sure to mention the importance of a database that will help in avoiding these kinds of situations.
One of the things that we don't have at this time in the industry is really an accurate database with information as to really what production is out there. And so it is very difficult for us to sit here and say, well, we'll have so much left over or stand over. We know that we will be milling close to 1.175 million tons of cane when we go to the end of Sunday, 12th of July. And that will be close to what we milled last year, 1.2 million tons of cane. The last 30-day survey was showing close to 1.29 million tons of cane. And so that gives you a feel for about 100,000 tons of cane that will be stood over based on that survey. But that was just a survey. It wasn't 100% verification. And so it is really for that reason that the industry is working very, very arduously to putting in place a database of cane production, which we call the SIMIS, the Sugar Industry Management Information System, that hopefully for next crop we will have in place and will be able to give us more accurate information as to the acreage of land that is out there in cane cultivation, and also the production that is estimated to be on that acreage. And so that will give us more accurate information on a farmer by farmer basis of really where the production is, and will assist the industry greatly in making decisions, including decisions, for example, the end of the crop. I think it is high time that this industry has that type of information, and we look forward to collaborating with the different stakeholders to put that in place. That is one of the priority items that the Sugar Industry Control Board is currently looking at, having that system in place to be used as of next crop.
Vega also called for all stakeholders to ensure a return to the crop cycle, which traditionally runs from November to May. There was additional good news for farmers.
I also want to make mention to all the cane farmers, for those that are all the leaders, but all the farmers that are listening, that we will be extending the waiver of licenses up to the end of this month for all farmers, or for all the equipment that they use for the hauling of the sugarcane.
As has been reported, this might be by far the best sugarcane crop season in Belize's history. Up until midnight last night, BSI had milled 1.135 million tons of cane, and it had produced more than 130,000 tons of sugar. This is great news, as the highest amount of sugar ever produced was 125,000 tons back in 1997. Vega praised the work of all stakeholders.
And this success story is owed again to all stakeholders, because while the Sugarcane Farmers Associations produce much better quality cane, harvested in a much better manner, BSI also milled in a much more efficient way. In other words, they were able to get much more sugar out of less sugar cane. So we hope that this continues, especially for these next 5-6 days, for the cane farmers to ensure that they burn cane in a most responsible manner, and the harvesting that they were doing 3-4 months ago continues, because we don't want to lose the quality that we have worked so hard for the entire crop. So again, I want to tell the cane farmers, please continue harvesting in the most responsible way, and I want to ask BSI to ensure that they continue the same efficient manner in milling the sugarcane.
If everything goes as planned, by Sunday, farmers would have delivered 1.175 million tons of cane, 30,000 tons less than last year's crop. But best of all, the amount of sugar produced is expected to reach close to 141,000 tons by the close of the crop. That is 15% more production, but with less cane.